There is a figure the Department for Work and Pensions quietly updated this year, and if you receive the state pension or any retirement benefit in the UK, that figure could mean hundreds of pounds more in your pocket every year. Not everyone knows about it. A significant number of pensioners across Britain are living on less than they are entitled to, not because they did something wrong, but because nobody told them the rules had changed. By the time this video ends, you will know exactly what shifted in 2026, what it means for your income, and what steps you can take today. Welcome to Prime DW PUK Guide. This channel exists to cut through the complexity of UK pensions, retirement benefits, and DWP policy so you can make genuinely informed decisions about your financial future. Whether you are already retired, coming up on your 60s, or just trying to understand how all of this works before you get there, you are in the right place. There is something that happens to a lot of people when they finally reach retirement age. They have spent decades working, paying national insurance, raising families, managing households, and when the moment comes to collect what they are owed, they assume the system will simply pay them what they deserve without any further effort. That assumption can be expensive. The pension and benefits system is not built to hand you everything automatically. Changes happen, thresholds shift, eligibility criteria get revised, and if nobody alerts you, you can miss out on money that is genuinely yours. That was the situation a retired teacher named Margaret from Wolverhampton found herself in. She had been on her state pension for 3 years, had never applied for pension credit because she was certain she would not qualify, and had no idea the income thresholds had moved. A welfare rights advisor at her local council eventually sat down with her and worked it out. She was entitled to pension credit worth over £1,200 a year, and once that was established, everything else attached to it followed. Help with council tax, a free TV license, cold weather payments. 3 years of entitlement, mostly gone. Margaret is not an unusual case. She is, unfortunately, a fairly typical one. The DWP itself has acknowledged that pension credit is one of the most underclaimed benefits in the country. Recent estimates put the number of eligible pensioners who are not claiming it somewhere between 850,000 and 1 million across Great Britain. That is not a rounding error. That is a substantial amount of money sitting in government budgets that is not reaching the people it was allocated for. So, what has actually changed in 2026? The state pension rose again in April under the triple lock. The full new state pension went up in line with the earnings measure from the previous year, which came in as the highest of the 3 triple lock indicators. If you reach state pension age after April 2016 and have a full 35-year national insurance record, your weekly payment has increased. If you have gaps in your record, your payment is proportionally lower, but it has still gone up. For those on the old basic state pension who reach pension age before 2016, the same principle applies, and these increases are permanent. The new rate is your baseline going forward. The pension credit threshold has also moved. The qualifying income level for guarantee credit was revised upward to reflect both the new state pension rate and ongoing cost of living pressure. What this means practically is that some people who checked their eligibility a year or two ago and were told they did not qualify may now find they do. It is worth running the check again, particularly if anything else in your financial circumstances has changed. Perhaps a reduction in savings interest, the loss of a small occupational pension, or a change in household composition. Pension credit is worth understanding properly because it is far more than a top-up payment, which is how it tends to get described. It is a gateway benefit. Once you are receiving it, other support follows automatically. Maximum housing benefit if you are renting, a free TV license for those 75 and over, the warm home discount on energy bills, cold weather payments when the temperature drops. Some councils offer additional local support on top of that. When you add it all together, the total value for an eligible household can run into several £1,000s a year. The problem is that most people do not know this until someone spells it out for them. The rules around deferring the state pension are also worth a mention for anyone past state pension age who has not yet claimed. Deferring increases your eventual weekly payment by roughly 1% for every 9 weeks you wait, which amounts to around 5.8% for a full year. Whether that is financially sensible depends on your health, your other income, your tax position, and how long you expect to need the money. But the option is there, and it gets overlooked more often than it should, especially by people who are still working and do not immediately need the pension income. Something that genuinely catches people off guard is the interaction between the state pension and income tax. The state pension is taxable. A lot of people assume it is not, that a government pension payment would be exempt, but it is counted as taxable income. For most pensioners receiving only the state pension, the personal allowance means little or no tax is actually due. The complications arise when there is additional income from a private pension, rental property, savings interest, or part-time work. In those cases, HMRC collects tax on the state pension by adjusting the tax code on your other income source. If that adjustment is wrong, and they are sometimes wrong, you can end up overpaying. If you have received a tax code notice recently that does not look right, or your provider has been deducting more than expected, it is worth querying it. The DWP also continued its migration of legacy benefit claimants in 2025 and into 2026, moving people from older benefits like housing benefit and income support across to either pension credit or universal credit depending on age. Most people received notification letters, but not everyone has responded, and some claimants have experienced gaps or confusion during the transition. If you are on a legacy benefit and have not yet heard anything definitive, contacting the DWP directly is the sensible move. Waiting to see what happens is not a strategy that serves you here. Attendance allowance is another benefit that deserves more attention than it typically gets. It is for people over state pension age who have a physical or mental disability and need help with personal care or supervision to stay safe. It is not means tested, which means your savings and income are irrelevant. The rates went up in April 2026. And yet many people who would qualify do not apply, often because they feel their condition is not severe enough, or they are uncomfortable asking for something they think is meant for someone worse off than them. But the criteria are broader than most people realize. Difficulty with medication, reduced mobility, cognitive decline, a condition that means you need someone to check on you regularly, these things can support a claim. It is worth looking into. For those with larger defined benefit or defined contribution pension pots, the rules following the abolition of the lifetime allowance in 2024 have continued to be refined. And if you are approaching retirement with significant accumulated savings, speaking to an independent financial advisor is not optional, it is sensible. The interactions between pension income, tax, and any lump sum decisions are complex enough that general guidance only gets you so far. None of this is straightforward. The pension and benefit system in the UK carries decades of accumulated policy, overlapping rules, thresholds that shift every April, and interactions between different types of support that are not intuitive until someone explains them. That is precisely why regular checks matter. What you were told 2 years ago may no longer be accurate. Your circumstances may have shifted. The rules may have moved to meet you. If anything in today's video connects with your situation or someone you know, the most practical first step is the Pension Credit Eligibility Checker on the gov.uk website. It takes about 10 minutes and gives a useful indication of whether a claim is worth pursuing. For attendance allowance or other disability-related benefits, Age UK offers a free benefits check, and their advisors know the claims process in detail. The money set aside for these benefits does not vanish if it goes unclaimed, but it does not automatically reach you either. That gap is what this channel is here to help close. Subscribe to Prime DWP UK Guide if you want to stay across these updates as they happen, whether that is new DWP announcements, threshold changes, state pension news, or practical guidance on getting what you are entitled to. Thank you for watching today.